Hello everyone, welcome back to the Netbeans e-commerce tutorial series. Today I will present Unit 5, Preparing the Page Views and the Controller Servlet. The purpose for this series is to help my students to understand how to use Netbeans IDE to build an e-commerce application. All materials in this presentation come from Netbeans.org website. The tasks we will accomplish in this unit is the following. First, we will create project files, then implement HTML and CSS content, then place JSP pages in web-inf folder. Then we will create a header and a footer. Then we will add a directive to the deployment descriptor. Then we will create the controller servlet. Finally, we will implement the controller servlet. The first task is creating project files. That include creating JSP pages. We already create index.jsp page. According to the markup we finished in Unit 2, we did create the following formal JSP pages. First is category.jsp, then is cart.jsp, third checkout.jsp, finally confirmation.jsp. We also need to create a cascading style sheets, so-called CSS. Creating a CSS file, the purpose is CSS file contain all styles specified to the application. Let us do the first task. Create project files. First, we create JSP files. Command new for the Mac computer. Then you will open the new file Widget. So I will choose the web category, create a JSP file, then click on next. Then JSP file, the first file I want to create is cart.jsp. Then new in everything else as it is. Then click on finish. Then do the same thing. Repeat this to create the file for the next is category.jsp. Then click on finish. Then again repeat this. I do the next. This time I will create checkout.jsp. Then do the same thing. I will do the confirmation.jsp. Confirmation.jsp. Click on finish. Now, we already created index.jsp before. This time we add a formal JSP file, cart.jsp, category.jsp, checkout.jsp, and confirmation.jsp. Next step, we create a style sheet. So in this project window again, I create a new folder first. I click here. So you can right click. The web page load. Choose new folder. Okay. Then this folder name, let's call it CSS. Then click on finish. Now you see new CSS folder is here. Then for this folder, you can also right click to create a new file, but we can just use Command N. This new file. In this new file, I will choose other category to create a new file. Then I will choose CSS, is cascading style sheet. Then click on next. Now he did give you a file name. We can call file name is just CSS. We just do this exactly according to your tutorial instruction. Then we click on finish. Our second task is to implement HTML and CSS content. We first create div tags for the main page areas. One pair of div tags define one division or one section in an HTML file, that is one area in web page. Div tags often have ID or class attribute, which is used to refer to a style defined in a CSS file. Then we iterate through each area and perform the following three steps. First, create the structure in HTML, then create a set of styles to define the appearance, then view the page to examine the results of the changes. Let us use this example to see how this works. This is a welcome page we marked up at Unit 2. Let's see this div tag. This div tag, his ID is widget bar. He actually defined the widget bar on the top of the web page. Inside this widget bar, we will have a language tag and a shopping cart, those two sub-areas. Each sub-area is defined by div tag. And those two div tags, the both style referred by the class head widget. Now, what's the difference between ID and class? The style referred by ID is uniquely used in the file, and the style referred by class may be used at several places in the file. Look at this example. Widget bar, we only have one widget bar on the top of the page. That's why widget bar is an ID. However, the widget head, widget, we have two of them, language tag and shopping cart. So head widget is a class. In CSS file, the rules are often defined by specifying attributes. Some often used attributes are width and height, background specify the background color. We use 3 hex number with value from 0 to 255 to represent the value of red, green, and blue. Below, the combination of red, green, and blue can form any color. Okay. Then the background, for example, the background color number CC. That means you specify red, green, blue with value 204, 204, and 204. The color is light gray. This also can be written as just 3 Cs. Margin, font size, line height. All those attributes from their names, you can understand what those attributes for. Let's see an example. Again, we use the welcome page as the example. See how we specify the styles of this widget bar and the head widget. So the widget bar, the height is 50 pixels. So the height is 50 pixels. Width is 850 pixels, the whole page now. Float to the right, which means the layout at the rightmost in the website, in the web page, and anything after it will float to its left. Then the background color is light gray. For the head widget, the width is 194 pixels. It's about so the width. Then the font size is small. The margin is 20 pixels, 2 pixels. What this mean? The top and the bottom 20 pixel margin, and the left and the right 2 pixel margin. Again, it's floated to the right. That means anything after it will to its left. Then line height is 25 pixel. Again, the background is AAA. This is equivalent to AA. It's also a gray. Let's start our second task, implementing HTML and CSS content. We will first create div tags for main page areas, then iterate through each area and perform the following 3 steps. First, create the structure in HTML, then create a set of style to define the appearance, then view the page to examine the results of changes. Let us start with index.jsp. Now you see the div /div show up. You just need to hit Enter key, then Enter key again. Now the whole body of this HTML file is one big area with ID main. Then I will divide this whole body into 4 areas, namely the head, left column, right column, and the footer. So first ID equal header. This is the header of this page. Then another area, ID equal index page, left column. You make your ID is readable. So this will be the left column of the page. Then ID equal right column, index right column. Finally, the ID equal footer. Okay, so we finished the first step. We divide the area, the whole main page area, into 4 sub areas: head, left column, right column, and footer. Now we need to give the definition of all those styles in CSS file. So you double click CSS file, ready to edit it. Now you can copy and paste from the tutorial website, but I prefer to type through for the first time. Okay, so first let us define the style of the body. Now pay attention, the body is a built-in for HTML. So it's not you need to give an ID for this, because you just want this body style is what. So you just type body. Okay. Now, for example, I want this body, his font family can be Arial. Helvetica or sans serif. Now we have this one. You just hit Enter key. You can choose and hit Enter key for this 850 pixel. Hit Enter key. Now you see when you type C, he gives you center. You don't have to type. You just hit Enter key to choose it. Then margin 20 pixel. Then auto. Now this auto 20 pixel, which means top and bottom margin 20 pixel. Left and right, they leave the equal margin when you take auto. Now, if you recall, we defined 5 IDs. Those are main, header, index left column, index right column, and the footer. For each of them, we need to define the style in the CSS file. So first, main. Main, I basically just want to specify his background color. So the background, I will use color is EEE. This is still gray. Then I will use foot. I define the head. Head, I want to define the height as 250 pixel, and the background, which is AAA. This index left column. Now float to the left, which means you will lay out it to the leftmost. Then anything after it will be float to his right side, around his right side. Okay, you finish the index left column. If you want to do, you will do the next index right column. You actually can copy and paste something. For example, you notice they're almost the same thing, so you can just copy and paste, then just change some value. For example, you change the weight to be 500, and change the background is EE, slightly different. Okay. Then finally you will do the footer. Now the foot, we will use height. Is 60 pixel. Now footer has a clear left. If you recall, foot suppose lay out below index left column and the right column than the footer. So, but according to index right column, anything come after it supposed to float around his right side because himself float left. So your foot clear left to ensure that foot will be laid down below the index right column. Okay. Then background, we will choose AAA. Next, we will view the page to examine the exchange. Click on this Run Project button. We notice that the result is not correct because no style actually show up on this web page. If you check your code, you see head, left column, right column, foot just show up on the web page as it is. There is no style at all. It did not divide at head area, left column, right column area, and the foot area. What's wrong? The reason is we did not link our JSP file to our CSS file. In order to do so, we need to say link the relation between those two. The target file is the style sheet, and the target file type could be a text file or CSS file. Then help text reference, which is his location, is in CSS folder, and the file name is bean.css. Okay. After we add this link, then we run the project again. Now you see everything works perfectly. Okay. So we finish the style first step for the JSP file. Okay. Now we continue into more details. Okay. Now we begin to create placeholder for page components with each of the four visible areas: header, foot, left column, right column. We start with the header. If you review the welcome page markup, the header should contain the following components: the logo text, shopping cart widget, and the language toggle. So we begin to do so by delete actual thing. Now inside my head, I need to add, first have a widget bar. In my widget bar, I need to have two sub areas. One called head widget. This is the place I put a language toggle. Okay. Then I have another sub area. His style is also a head widget. this place I put a shopping cart. This is a widget bar. This is part of the head. Then head has another two parts. One is his logo. So the logo should be able to, when you click on the logo, should be able to link back to this welcome page. But this link, I did not implement it yet, but I put a placeholder here. Image source will equal, then I also didn't specify where is the source, but the ID style, I did give an ID name called logo. Then if this link the source not available, I will have alternative sense to display. This is called a football bin logo. Then the head have another image. The source not specified yet. His ID is logo text. And if it's not available, this link, then we'll just default display the football bin. So you add those. Of course, let us double check. Okay, in the head DIY pair, I have three parts. One part is for the widget bar. In the widget bar, I have two sub area. So another part is the logo image. Another part is logo text. Logo image style was defined in the CSS with ID logo, and the logo text is style was defined in CSS file with ID logo text. Then in CSS file, you will define the ID widget bar, and here I cannot use ID. Remember, since this header widget referred at several places, so I did type class. Okay. Now, good thing we double check. Now, next step, I need to go back to the CSS file to add the definition for those new style. First is logo. Okay, the logo I want is height with 150 pixel, and the one is width 150 pixel. So it's a square box, and the float to its left, and the margin left I want to be 30 pixel, and the margin top now it's negative 20 pixel. This negative 20 pixel, which means it can overlap with the elements on its top above it. It can overlap it. Then the logo text, I'll define float to the left, and his margin will be 20 pixel, 0, 0, and 70 pixel. Now, when the margin has 4 values follow it, which means top, right, bottom, left. Okay, specify the 4 direction margins. Then the margin, the logo text, I will have more things. One is the font family. I will use a font called American Typewriter. This will be Courier mono space. Since I have this one, I just hit Enter K. Then font size will be 50 pixel, specify it. Then color will be 333. Okay. So now then we define widget bar. Widget bar, I want its height will be 50 pixel. Width will be 850 pixel. Then float to the right. And his background will be CCC. Now we know that all the ID start with number sign. Now the class start with dot. Head widget, I want its width is 194 pixel. I want its margin become 20 pixel, no 2 pixel. We explained before, when the margin only have two number after it, the first number indicate the top and the bottom, the second number indicate right and the left. Okay. Then font size, we use small. Then float to the right. Then line height will be 25 pixel. Line height, which means the minimum of the line height is 25 pixel. Then background will be all ace. Okay. So now we finish the head part. Now if you run the program to check the web page, examine the change, now you can see your head widget bar is here. Okay. Then you have two sub area, language toggle and the shopping cart widget listed on the head. Then you have the image logo is here. Since the image link we didn't specify it yet, so it's displayed the alternative text FOBOBIN logo. Then here is the same thing. The FOBOBIN logo text image not available, so we just display this text. Now let's create placeholders for components in the right column. According to the welcome page markup, the right column contains 4 evenly spaced boxes. So we need to create 4 area class equal category box. Box is the style. I did 4 of them. Well, the easy way to do 4 of them, I guess we just copy and paste. Right? So each of them, I will do the same thing. For the link, not specified yet. Then I will display dairy, meat, bakery, fruit, and vegetable. But each of this display, I want to put a style. So this time I use span tag. Span tag is used to group inline elements. So the style will be category label text. And the first one is dairy. Again, since each of them will be similar, so you also, if you wish, you can copy and paste. But you need to change accordingly. So the second one will be meats. The third one will be bakery. And the last one will be fruit and veg. Okay, so we divide this right column to 4 evenly spaced boxes. Now I need to define the style category box and category label text in CSS file. So I double click on this, then I begin to enter the following things here. One is dot, category box, it's a class, so start with dot. Height, 176 pixel, then width, 212 pixel, then margin, 21 pixel, 14 pixel, 6 pixel. Okay. Then float is inherit. Then background will be CCC. Now we do another category label text. Inline height, line height will be 150 pixel, and the font size will be extra large. Now notice we can always copy and paste from the tutorial to do this, but I really want to type through one time to get familiar with all those attributes. For example, this height I even type wrong. So here height, yeah, type wrong. Margin, type wrong. What's going on? Okay, we correct those mistakes. Then we begin run the program again. You will see this right column is defined. The left column and the footer only require placeholders for static text, so let's implement both simultaneously. So for the left column, we just simply do this. We will put a welcome text here. Then for the footer, I use HR. Basically, HR tag in HTML define as thematic break. So give a break, then define this paragraph with ID equal footer text. Then in my CSS file, I need to add the following new style definition. First, this time I want my footer have a limited width. So according to your tutorial, we would like to add this change 350 pixel with the footer's width. And we will define HR as following. The border is 0. Background color will be 333. And the height 1 pixel. Margin will be 0, 2 pixel. And the width 300 pixel. Okay. Now notice your tutorial so far did not specify the style for the welcome text and the foot text, these two. But we can play with it. So let us define welcome text. Well, we can make it very simple. Let's see, how about change his font size to be extra large, like we did for the right column. How about for the foot text? I just change his background color, specify his background color to be red. Red, you know, since the color is RGB, red is FF0000. Okay, that means I have red, no green, no blue. Okay, after we did this, let us examine the result. Okay, you see now my welcome text is here, my foot length is limited. We follow the same procedure. That is, first create a div tags for the main page areas, then iterate through each area and perform 3 steps. First, create a structure in HTML, then create a set of styles to define the appearance, then view the page to examine the results of the changes. We follow these steps, then we can do for the cart page, category page, checkout page, and confirmation page. After we done all, and of course the corresponding styles defined in f4bin.css. After we done all those, if you look at the new updated, you will see this is the index page. In order to access cart page, you just type cart.jsp. Then you will see the cart page. Then you type checkout.jsp. Then this will be checkout page. Then you will type category. Then this will be a category page. Then if you type on confirmation, this will be a confirmation page. So we got all the page built up. Our next task is placing JSP pages in web-info folder. If you look at the 5 pages we just examined, except the index.jsp, which is welcome page, all other pages do need some form of user-specific information to display properly. For example, the category page requires that the user select a category in order to display. The cart page needs to know all items currently held in a shop's cart. The project's web.inf folder can be used for this purpose. Any resources contained in the web-info folder are not directly accessible from the browser. This tells us that we should move cart.jsp, category.jsp, checkout.jsp, confirmation.jsp, all those 4 pages, move them into web-info folder. To do so, let us first create a new subfolder here. Let's call it views. View. Okay. Then finish. Now, what I'm going to do, I want to move all those 4 pages into this view folder. Let's check. Yeah, they're all there. Now, if after we move them to there, we can see it's not possible to access them directly. Let us run the project. Suppose now I want to go to web-inf/view category.jsp. Now you will get a HTTP status 404 not found error message. This is because you cannot directly access web-info folder. It will not allow you to do so. Our next task is creating a header and a footer. Why we needed to do that? If we recall, all the views have some common area. For example, top, the header, they all have company logo, a language toggle, and other widgets associated with shopping cart functionality. And the bottom, the footer, they all have some text with privacy policy and contact links. So we can factor them out into two JSP fragments, a header and a footer. Then we just need to include the fragment file into page views whenever they need to be rendered. In order to do so, we must fulfill the next task, adding a directive to the deployment descriptor. We create a web.xml deployment descriptor and add a JSP property group directive to specify which page views the header and footer fragments should apply to. Let's create a header and a footer. Right-click Web-inf folder, go to the new folder, and create a new subfolder called JSP fragment. Then I click on Finish. Then right-click on here. You can click on New File. You can choose JSP file. In the JSP file, one called header.jsp. I do not need to specify .jsp here. Then he will automatically add for me. Then the JSP file, I choose Create as a JSP segment option. Make sure this box is checked. Then click on Finish. Okay. Then do the same thing. Create another one called footer. Then I also check this box. Create a JSP segment. Finish. Now I begin to copy the header part from any of these 5 JSP files to the header.jspf. For example, I choose to use index.jsp, so I copy from here until reach here, which before the index left column. So I copy it and replace everything here, paste. Then I do the same thing for the footer part. Footer part is start from here to the end. I copy it, then replace it in the footer. Now I will remove all this header part and footer part from these 5 JSP files. So for example here, I remove it, and the header part from the beginning until reach to here. I remove it. Then for the confirmation page, I first remove the footer part. Then we'll remove the header part beginning until to here. Then for the checkout, first remove the footer. Then I will remove the header part. I will remove until to here. Then for the category, I will remove the footer part. Then I will remove everything from the beginning until to here. Then for the card part, I'll remove the footer. Then I will remove from the beginning to the here. Okay. So we have placed views in their proper location and have factored out common header and footer code into the header.jspf and the footer.jspf. But the application needs to know which pages the header and the footer file will be applied to. So we must add JSP column include tags to each of the page view Doing so, however, would just reintroduce the code repetition, which we have just made effort to eliminate. An alternative solution would be to create a web.xml deployment descriptor and add a JSP property group directive to specify which page view the header and footer fragment should apply to. So let's click on here, then command new. Then we will choose web category, then choose standard deployment descriptor, which is web.x.xml. Click on next. Okay, make sure the location is under the web-info. Then we click on finish. Now it's here. We have this here. Now you see it's open graphic user interface open for editor. Let us choose pages. Then we need to add JSP property group. We add a group. This group description, you can say header and footer settings. Okay. Then URL pattern, you can browse it to not make a mistake. The browser is always safe. You select index.jsp, then you select the next one. Could be your view. Now, remember the view, everything in the view needed to be. So I put a /star. Then I click on OK. After you've done this, if you go back to the source, then you will see they already add a JSP property group. Description is header and footer setting, and the URL pattern index.jsp. That means header and footer will be added to here. Web-inf view /star. That means all the JSP pages in the view folder, the header and the footer should add to it. Okay. Now let's go back to the pages. We need to give which file is the header, which file is the footer, give the location. So I browse for the header first. Header we know is in the web, and here is the header. So I select the file as a header. Then I browse here. Then again, I select the file as a footer. Okay. So after this done, if you go to the source again, you see two new line of code added, which is include the head, which is goes here to find the head, include the foot, go here to find the foot. Okay. Now, if you run the program, remember we already removed the header part and the footer part from index.jsp. If you run the project and work properly, that means everything you just did is okay. So let us try. I will run the project. Yeah, you see the header still here, the footer is still here. So we did everything correct. Our next task is creating the controller servlet. The controller servlet handles incoming requests by initiating any actions needed to generate the model for the request, then forwarding the request to the appropriate view. So how he knows which view to forward to? So it's important for controller servlet be able to mapping users action, which it calls URL pattern to URL. For example, if user's action is view cart, then the controller servlet should forward the request to the view cart.jsp. If the user's action is want to see the category, then it should be forwarded to the view category.jsp. Notice this forwarding is inside this application. Instead of try to access web-info from the outside, so it's from inside, so it is okay. So this view will be presented to the user, to the client. So the Netbeans IDE provides a servlet wizard that enables you to define the servlet component in a web application in two ways. First, including the add web servlet annotation in the generated class, Second, adding the necessary directives to the deployment descriptor. Let's create the controller servlet. Right-click on the project load, choose New Servlet. Then we give the class name as controller servlet, and the package is controller. Then click on Next. We do not want to use web.xml to define the servlet component. We want to use add web servlet annotation in controller servlet.java class. So we do not check this box. If you check this box, the information will be added to web.xml file. Your tutorial specified that. But for this section purpose, we do not do that, so we don't check this box. Okay, the URL pattern, I will choose category. I will add to cart. Then we'll have view cart. Then I click on finish. Once you click finish, you will see there is add web servlet before your class signature. Okay, now we can add more here if we want to. So we first make this look a little bit nicer, just exactly look like your tutorial. We want to do something like this. Okay. Then we add more here. View card. Then add more. One thing to add is update card. Another thing to add is checkout. Another thing to add is purchase. Oh, I forgot all this slash. Then another thing to add is choose language. Okay. So finally, include a node on startup element so that the servlet is instantiated and initialized when the application is deployed. The value of 0 or greater will cause this to happen. -1 is default. Okay, so what I really do is under here, I will choose node on startup equal 1. Final task for this unit is to implement the controller servlet. The servlet uses a user path instance variable to get the required URL pattern from the client. The code is string user path equal request.get servlet path. Then the URL pattern associated primary with page requests are managed by the doGet method. In controller servlet.java class, there are two methods. One is doGet, another doPost. So the doGet method will manage the URL patterns associated primary with page request. For example, category, view card, and checkout. The result is display category, card, and checkout pages. The URL patterns associated with form submits and the transport of sensitive user data are managed by doPost method. For example, update card, add to cart, and purchase. For both doGet and doPost method, the path to appropriate view is formed using a URL string. String URL equal web-info/view plus user path plus .gsp. Request dispatches is obtained from the HTTP servlet request and applies the URL to forward the request. The code is request.getRequestDispatch URL.forward request respond. Let's implement the controller servlet class. First of all, we do not need this process request method, so we just simply delete it. Okay. Then we do not need this method, we just simply delete. So what we really need to do, we need to implement do get method and do post method. Okay. Okay. Again, you can copy and paste, but I would like to type it one time. So let us try this. So as we said, you first have a string user path equal request.get servlet path. You define the user path. Okay. Then if category page is requested, then if user path dot equals / category, here. Then we will do what? Implement category request. Okay. Now pay attention here, equals. We miss one of the thing. Okay. If cart page is requested, else if user path dot equals cart view cart, then we load. We want the user path just equal cart. Okay. If checkout page is requested, then we say else if user path dot equals checkout. Then we're in to do. Remind ourselves in the future we need to do this. We need to implement checkout page request. If user choose switch language, else if user path dot equals choose language, then what we need to do in the future is implement language request. Now, pay attention. Many of place we just put the placeholder there first. Okay, we didn't really implement anything. Now, the user request dispatch to forward the request internally. How to do that? We use request dispatch to forward request internally. As we said before, your string URL equal /web -info /view, then plus user path plus .gsp, right? Then try to forward request .get request dispatch. You need to give me a string which is URL, then .forward request response. Okay. Now if we try this, if I catch exception, then I would like print stack track for this exception. Now let's see what is the error message. Cannot find the symbol. Print stack trash, not a track. Okay, so we finish this. Okay, then we do the same thing to this one. We do the same thing to this one. So for example, you can copy your string user path equal request to get servlet path, right? No problem. We copy 9 by 9. Okay. Then if add to cart action is called, if this action, that means if user path that equals add to cart, then what we will do? Well, of course, we will implement to do in the future. Implement add product to cart action. We will implement that. Okay. If update cart action is called, else if update cart user path that equals update cart. If it's update cart, what to do is implement update cart action. If purchase action is called, then else if use path that equals purchase, then we will first implement purchase action, then we will lead it to confirmation page. Okay. Then again, we will use request dispatch to forward the request internally. Here, if you wish, you can copy and paste here. So we save some time to type. Okay. Let's run the project, see what is going on. It seems like we have some error. He asked us to see the server log for details. If I click on this server, then we see what's going on here. He says this error caused by illegal argument exception, invalid URL pattern for class controller.controller_servlet. Then he listed this URL pattern, then see which one is illegal. Then we found we missed the slash for the last one. Okay, so we can go back here to correct the mistake. It looks like we need to be very careful. Okay, now we rerun the project. Now that everything is fine, then we begin test all these actions. One of the actions called view card. Now we can view card. And another action is category. We can see the category. Another action is checkout. So if we can see the checkout, yeah, everything is fine. We have successfully finished Unit 5 of tutorial. We created GSP pages that contain placeholders for functional component. We set up the front-end structure of the application. All GSP pages now resides within web-info folder. Header and footer code has been factored out into separate files. Deployment descriptor is properly configured. We also set up the control servlet to handle income requests. We are ready to go. Acknowledgement. This is the end of Unit 5. The next is Unit 6, connecting the application to the database. Again, all materials come from Netbeans.org website. If you have any questions, please send me email. See you next time. Goodbye.